District B13 is a lawless no man's land abandoned by the government. No schools, no services, almost no police. Gangs and drug lords rule, and the city keeps them locked behind massive walls. But when a gang hijacks an armored vehicle and accidentally activates a nuclear bomb, 2 million lives hang in the balance, with just 24 hours to survive. 6 months earlier, Lito walks these streets, a young man who refuses to deal drugs and fights those who do. His defiance puts him squarely in the path of Taha, B13's most powerful crime lord. When Lito intercepts a massive cocaine shipment, Taha sends his ruthless enforcer K2, a man who values no life, to hunt him down. K2 storms Lito's building, killing 2 men without hesitation and leading his gang inside. As gunfire erupts, Lito quickly gets the drugs out of reach and confronts the attackers head-on. Ordered to capture him alive, K2's men hesitate, giving Lito the opening he needs. Using his exceptional combat skills, Lito fights his way out, leaping across buildings and rooftops while his pursuers fall one by one. Despite bringing a large crew, K2 fails to catch him and returns empty-handed. Enraged over the loss of a shipment worth millions, Taha delivers swift punishment, executing the men responsible for the failure. Thinking quickly, K2 saves himself by suggesting they kidnap Lito's younger sister Lola to use her as bait. Taha agrees but warns him that failure will mean death. K2's men abduct Lola in broad daylight from her workplace, while bystanders and police look the other way, too afraid to intervene. Lola is taken to the gang's heavily guarded headquarters, where drugs are produced openly, and Taha's deadly enforcers stand watch. When she fights back and scratches K2, he angrily drags her to Taha and spreads the news to lure Lito into a trap. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to like the video. But the plan backfires. Lito suddenly appears from above, presses a blade to Taha's neck, and takes him hostage. With guns aimed at them, Lito calmly walks out with his sister, completely humiliating K2. The siblings escape, force Taha into a car, and drive to the police station, where Lito hands over the crime boss along with 5 kilos of drugs as evidence. Taha's men surround the police station, filling the air with danger. Afraid the building will be destroyed, the inspector makes a cowardly decision and arrests Lito instead of Taha. The hero is taken away while the criminal walks free. In front of everyone, Taha reclaims the drugs and drags Lola with him, exposing the deep corruption of the system. The inspector offers a weak apology, claiming he wants a peaceful retirement, but Lito sees it for what it is: cowardice. 6 months later, Lito remains in prison, training every day and waiting for his chance to save his sister. Outside, Taha continues to thrive, abusing Lola and expanding his criminal empire into other cities. His gang hijacks an armored transport using children and explosives, only to discover they have stolen a military nuclear device. With millions of lives at stake, the Minister of Defense assigns Damien, a veteran bomb expert, to defuse the device. That's when the government finally acts. Gangster Carlos angrily berates his men over failed deals and searches for new recruits, eventually heading to a casino where Sammy, monitoring CCTV, accuses him of bringing the police. To prove his loyalty, Carlos shoots one of his own men. As they try to leave, Damien reveals himself as a police officer and allows everyone else to go, targeting only Carlos. The police then execute a plan by breaking a hole in the roof, looping a rope around Carlos's leg, and pulling him out. When the gang storms back inside and fires blindly into the hole, Damien ambushes them from near the door, eliminating them one by one with backup ammunition dropped from above. With Carlos captured and the gang neutralized, Damien completes his mission and heads straight to the defense minister, who gives him an even more urgent task. With only 23 hours left, he must enter District B13 and defuse the nuclear bomb to save 2 million lives. The mission is extremely dangerous, as the district is ruled by violence and crime. To survive inside, Damien is assigned an unwilling partner, Lito, who is currently in prison and knows District 13 better than anyone. But Lito despises the police and refuses to cooperate. To gain his trust, Damien stages a deception, pretending to be a badly beaten prisoner and sharing a transport van with Lito. He claims he was arrested after killing one of Taha's men and now wants revenge. Moments later, Damien breaks free, takes control of the van, and knocks out the guards. Together, he and Lito speed toward District B13, crashing through the gate as police shout helplessly behind them. Leto suddenly turns silent and shocks Damien by handcuffing him to the steering wheel, revealing he knew all along that Damien was an undercover cop and refused to be used. Determined to rescue his sister alone, Leto storms into District B13, leaving Damien trapped and surrounded by danger. Feigning friendliness, local criminals quickly turn hostile, but even while cuffed, Damien uses the steering wheel to overpower a thug and escape. Sharp and relentless, he tracks down Leto and returns the handcuffs, proving he has no intention of fighting him. When Damien admits the truth about the nuclear bomb that could wipe out the entire city, Leto's sense of justice resurfaces, and the two finally join forces. Hit the subscribe button before watching ahead. Instead of sneaking in, Leto boldly calls Taha and announces he is coming with an agent to negotiate over the bomb. Knowing Taha's ego and curiosity, Leto is certain he won't refuse. As expected, Taha's men arrive and escort them straight to the base. With only 1 hour left before detonation, Damien warns that only he can disable the bomb, or 2 million people will die with it. Taha remains unfazed, revealing plans to turn the bomb into a mobile weapon and unleashing a massive assassin to guard it, ready to crush anyone who comes near. Taha tries to turn the standoff into a deal, demanding $20 million from Damien in exchange for their lives. Damien pretends to arrange the transfer, and when Taha checks, the bank delays the payment by 30 minutes, buying them time. Knowing they can't wait, Leto makes a bold move, flipping into the bathroom with Damien and breaking through the ceiling to escape to the floor below. Under heavy gunfire, they manage to escape. Furious, Taha executes one of his men, only to learn his accounts have been frozen and no money was ever sent. Stripped of power, he is betrayed by his own crew and handed over to a new, tattooed mafia duo who take control of District B13 overnight. Determined not to lose the bomb, the new bosses send hunters after Leto and Damien. Leto sprints across rooftops with flawless parkour, while Damien struggles through unfamiliar alleys. Just as capture seems inevitable, K2 suddenly appears and lets Leto and Damien pass, even urging them to defuse the bomb. With only 9 minutes left, they race upstairs and confront a massive guard left behind to protect it. Damien attacks first, but is brutally overpowered. Leto steps in, using agility and an electrical cable to bind the giant, allowing Damien to finish him off in a violent blast. Above, Lola watches in chains as her brother risks his life. Desperate, she tries to end her own life with a gas can, but Leto stops her just in time. With 3 minutes remaining, Damien calls for the disarm code and receives 9293B13, which he enters immediately. Leto realizes the code matches the district's postal code and suspects it is meant to trigger the explosion, not stop it. Damien refuses to believe it, as for him, the code is procedure, but for Leto, it's a lie he's seen before. The argument erupts into a brutal fight, with Damien's training giving him the edge while Leto fights on through sheer will. As Damien moves to enter the code, Lola stops him at the last second, trusting her brother as the timer runs out and suddenly halts, proving the bomb was never meant to be disarmed. Realizing he was betrayed, Damien helps carry the bomb out, and the gangs silently let them pass. Confronting the minister, Leto and Damien force a confession that the government planned to erase District B13 and blame the gangs, but the scheme collapses when a reporter broadcasts it live. In the end, Damien leaves, while Leto refuses a reward and returns to District B13, saying the people don't need a hero, only schools, hospitals, and real justice. Thanks for watching. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss the action.